How's it going, Rogues Gallery, and welcome to another Flesh and Blood video here on Red Zone Rogue. Today we are talking about more Tales of Aria spoilers, kicking it off with this big chunky boy, Oldhim, grandfather of eternity. But before we get started, I do want to mention that today's video is brought to you by FAB DB, the premier Flesh and Blood deck building and database website. Go ahead and check them out. Link in the description down below. And you know what? While you're down there, check out my channel Fireball affiliate link if you'd like to pick up some first edition Tales of Aria. Or you know what? Go buy from your local game store. Anyway, let's get started. I'm really excited. We got our big boy here, Oldhim, grandfather of eternity. I know people are going to debate how you say his name. Is it Oldhim? Oldhim? Oldheim? I think it's like Oldhim? Oldhim? Something like that. I'm just going to call him Oldhim, grandfather of eternity. He's awesome. He's a big boy, big beefy burly man. And he's he's really cool. So he has essence of earth and ice. He has a once per turn defense reaction. So there's a defense reaction on the hero, which is pretty crazy. And that kind of tells you a lot about what Oldhim is about. You know, he's got a defense reaction like built in. And for 3 resources, it says, if an earth card is pitched this way, prevent the next 2 damage that would be dealt to Oldhim this turn, which is pretty good. It's not too much, nothing crazy, and requires 3 resources. And it also says, if an ice card is pitched this way, the attacking hero puts a card from their hand on top of their deck. That one might not be as good because if they just, you know, use their entire hand to attack, it would do nothing. But if they're not, if they're going wide, then it could be pretty useful. I think Oldhim is great. Yeah, I think he's really good. He's awesome. People are going to love him. He's an elemental guardian hero, so he can use ice cards, earth cards, and guardian cards. Yeah, I think he's going to be a definite fan favorite, and I really like him. I can't wait to build some big chunky Oldhim defensive decks, man. So next up we have young Oldhim, and even though the young one still looks like he's older than I am, he looks awesome though. I love how he's got like this tower shield and this hammer. Even in both pictures, he's got his, you know, big old tower shield and trusty hammer. Really, really sweet. Okay, let's talk about his hammer. This is Winter's Wail. Once per turn action for 3 resources attack. It attacks for 4, which is pretty good, you know. Attacking for 4 is quite good because it requires your opponent to at least block with a card from their hand plus something else or use a defense reaction. It says, if an ice card is pitched this way, Winter's Wail gains, if it hits a hero, create a Frostbite token under their control, which is really good. We looked at Frostbite tokens last time. Basically, the Frostbite tokens tax your opponent by 1 for each Frostbite token they have, which means that their first action or effect or whatever costs an additional resource the first time they do it, and then they all go away. Which is really good. It's actually really good. This taxing effect is going to be quite strong, I think, in the meta. So I think it's pretty good. And it's a one-handed hammer. Gotta lay the hammer down. Next up is Endless Winter. This is one of Oldhim's specializations. Man, look at that art. I want to say this now too. I didn't touch upon this when I was talking about Oldhim. First of all, he looks awesome. Second of all, doesn't he look like one of the freaking giants from Game of Thrones? Like, he looks like one of the giants from Game of Thrones. He totally does. Anyways, he looks really cool. So it's a specialization, costs 4 to play, has an attack of 8, which is pretty hefty. Has Ice Fusion. We'll talk about what Fusion is really quickly. Fusion is when you play the card, you can reveal that type from your hand as an additional cost. So this one's Ice Fusion, so when you play this, you can reveal an ice card from your hand. It also says, if Endless Winter was fused, whenever the defending hero adds a defending card to his chain link, create a Frostbite token under their control. That's pretty good. Yeah. This is just a weird card, right? So it basically, you attack with, well, let's finish reading it. Let's finish reading it first. Okay. So if Endless Winter hits until the end of their next turn, whenever they activate an ability, create a Frostbite token under their control. Okay, so basically, if you fuse this thing and you're attacking with it, whenever they block with a card or play a defense reaction or whatever, whenever they add a card to the chain link, then they just get Frostbite tokens. And then if it hits, then they just also get way more Frostbite tokens, and it's coming in for 8. So this is a big deal. This is really heavy hitting to go wide decks. Really, really heavy hitting. I love it. I actually love it. I love that there's going to be options. You can build like a control, big, heavy-hitting deck. I think this is going to be a real good one. Next up, we have Glacial Footsteps. This is a common card. Cost 6 to play, has a defense of 3, 10 attack, which is pretty good. It says Ice Fusion. If Glacial Footsteps was fused, it gains Dominate. Coming in for 10 with Dominate is pretty good. It's an Elemental Guardian attack action, by the way. Pretty simple card. Costs 6 to play, comes in for 10. If you fuse it, it's going to be dominated. So basically, what this means is you pitch 2 blue cards, play this, and then reveal the other card from your hand, unless you're doing some Arsenal shenanigans, to get the 10 attack with Dominate. I think it's going to be disgusting in Limited. This is going to be an absolutely freaking gross Limited card. It's going to be really good. It's just a common. This is going to kill me. This is going to kill me in so many Limited games. We have a yellow version coming in for 9, and then a blue version coming in for a measly 8. Only 8 damage. It's still freaking insane. Next up, we have Frostlock. This is a Ranger card. So this is a 1-cost blue pitch, which is really uncommon to have a blue pitch Majestic Ranger card. Blocks for 3, attacks for 3. Kind of low attack for a Ranger card. It has Ice Fusion. It's an arrow attack, which means it has to be played from your arsenal. Cards and activated abilities cost opposing heroes an additional 1 resource this turn. That's sweet. It also says if Frostlock was fused, it gains +1, and if it hits a hero until the end of their next turn, they can't pitch or play cards with base attack 0. Oh my god. Oh my god. This card is insane. This card is so good. I don't know if it's just like a strictly sideboard card, but in the meta right now, oh man, this card crushes so hard. It's like, hey, Katsu, eat it. Or like, it's basically, hey, Ninja or Chain, just eat it. Oh man, it's so good. Especially if you can dominate this thing. This is a sweet card. I don't know how like it's gonna be busted or anything, but I can tell you it's really good. Look at the art, man. This dude's a giant. Like, look at, there's like little swords and like dragon wings down there. This is a huge creature. Anyway, card's awesome. I love the effect. The cards and activated abilities cost opposing heroes an additional 1 this turn. So that means when you're attacking them, they can't just get a free like sink below or whatever. It's gonna cost them a resource, which is, it's a big deal. It's a big deal. This card's really good. Yeah, I'm gonna want 4 of these, or 3 of them. Next up, we have Flash Freeze. Okay, so this is just an elemental card, right? It's not ice or earth or lightning or whatever. It's just an elemental card. Costs 1 to play. It's a non-attack action. Blocks for 2. There's a red pitch card. It has ice and or lightning fusion, so it can do both or either. And it says if Flash Freeze was fused with an ice card, attacks you control this turn gain. When you attack with this, it gains Dominate unless the defending hero pays 2. Pretty good. It also says if Flash Freeze was fused with Lightning, attacks you control this turn gain. If it hits a hero, deal 3 damage to them. This is good too, man. It's hard to stay, like, it's hard to keep myself reined in and from being like hyperbolic and being like, oh, this is so busted, it's going to ruin the game. I don't think it's going to do that. I don't think any of these cards are going to do that. But man, this is sweet. This is a really sweet card. If you're playing ice and or lightning, this is good. If you can do both, if you can reveal both, and it's just they all gain Dominate and they all gain this effect. I mean, unless they pay 2 resources, but I mean, good luck, red line decks. You got to have some good pitch going on here. This card's really, really good. Also, look at the art, Mark Poole. This also reminds me, I'm getting a lot of references here. This kind of reminds me of like Shadow of the Colossus, right? One of the last Colossi, one of the really, really tall ones. Kind of reminds me of that. Anyway, awesome. This card's freaking awesome. Next up, we have the most simple card compared to Flash Freeze and Frostlock. We have Flash Freeze and Frostlock, and they're like super complicated. This is Autumn's Touch. It's an earth attack action. It costs 3 and attacks for 7. That's it. Blocks for 3. But that's it. We also have the yellow one coming in for 6 and the blue one coming in for 5. This feels like a limited card to me. If you really, really, really need earth attack cards, then maybe you put it in your constructed deck. I mean, it does attack for 7. Not bad. This one attacks for 6, not bad. You can pop those illusions. But other than that, it looks like a limited card. Really cool artwork though. I like it. Next up we have Channel Lake Frigid. Cool. So we're gonna have like Channel X location cards. We've seen this before with Channel Thunderstep. It's pretty safe to say we can see this for a lot of the other locations in Aria. I know a lot of people expected them to be actual locations, but I think they want to reserve that for really high rarity cards. I think they want to reserve the locations for like Fable type stuff, or maybe even legendary type stuff. So this is a 2-cost Ice Action Aura with blue pitch. Has go again. Says cards and activated abilities cost opposing heroes an additional 1. Oh my god, there's so many like taxing effects in this set. I can just people are going to be so irritated, I think. It has Channel Ice. At the beginning of your end phase, put a flow counter on Lake or Channel Lake Frigid, and then destroy it unless you put an ice card from your pitch zone on the bottom of your deck for each flow counter on it. So basically, you want to pitch an ice card for this the first turn you play it, so you can immediately kind of like, you know, do the whole put it on the bottom of your deck and not have to destroy it thing. You're gonna have to do it twice for the second turn. So all of these channel aura card kind of things, they're gonna be hard to keep around, but they have really strong effects. Even if you just get it for 1 turn, pretty good. Hoses your opponent over for like 1 turn. If you get it for 2 turns, whew, good stuff. Next up, we have Weave Ice, the counterpart to that Weave Lightning that we saw. We're probably going to see some Weave Earth. So this is a 0-cost red pitch card, blocks for 2. It's an Ice action, so it's a non-attack action. The next Ice or Elemental attack action card you play this turn gains +3. If it's fused, it gains Dominate. So Weave Lightning gave it go again. This one gives it Dominate. 0-cost, +3. Amazing. And also you get that extra fuse for the Dominate. It's really good. It's really good. I can see these being like part of some really good like go tall strategies. Weave Ice and Weave Lightning both seem pretty good for Lexi. So like a Lexi control go tall deck where you just want to dominate every single turn with a really, really heavy hitting debilitating arrow. Oh, man, it seems good. I mean, the deck is already kind of like building in my head. We also have the yellow one coming in for a +2 and the blue one coming in for a +1. Next up, we have Winter's Grasp. It's another very simple card, right? So this is a 2-cost Ice attack action, blocks for 3. It's a red pitch version. This dude's having a bad day, and it's just comes in for 6. That's it. Yellow one comes in for 5. Blue one comes in for, you guessed it, measly 4 damage. Basically, if you need this card, you're gonna run it in your limited deck. Other than that, it just feels like a limited card to me. Same as the other one. Same as the other one. Next up, we have Winter's Bite. Okay, this card is weird, and oh man, I really don't know what to think about this card. Okay, first of all, the art is really cool, but pun intended. Pun 100% intended. Okay, so it's a 0-cost Ice non-attack action, blocks for 2, and it does something we've never really seen done in Flesh and Blood, but is really common in other games. Target hero discards a card unless they pay 3 resources. Go again. Yeah, this is just kind of like a 0-cost way to force your opponent to discard a card at the cost of one of your own cards. I think this could be really good. It's an Ice action. I think this could be really good in a lot of different control decks where you don't care how many cards you have, but you care about how many cards your opponent has, and you really want to just slow them down. You just want to block everything else out. I think this could also be really good in Ranger, in a Lexi. Well, I mean, obviously it has to be Lexi because it's Ice, but imagine putting 2 of these into your arsenal, right? 2 of these into your arsenal to save up for a later turn, and then you go Winter's Bite, Winter's Bite, and they're like, no cards in my hand, and you just kind of lay the slap down, like just get them, man. Like, this seems like a really sweet setup card. I don't know how good it's going to be in practice, but man, this is unique, and I think there's a lot of applications for this. I think it's cool. I think it's really cool. This is just a common card too. So this is the red. We also have the yellow. Makes them same thing, but they have to pay 2. Or the blue, same thing. They have to pay 1. Even the blue one, dude. Even the blue one's still quite good. And the fact that it has go again means you can just be like, boom, 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 but you just play him. Just play him. I don't know. Seems good. Okay. Okay, here we go. We have Rampart of the Ram's Head. This card, first of all, look at this art. Look at the templating. This is such a unique and awesome card. It just looks like a legendary. It is a legendary, and it looks like it too. This is a Guardian equipment offhand, not an Elemental Guardian. Bravo can use this card. Bravo can use the Rampart of the Ram's Head, which is freaking awesome. So, it has a 0 defense baseline, but whenever you defend with Rampart of the Ram's Head, you may pay a resource. If you do, it gains 1 defense until end of turn. Okay, so it's an equipment, it's an offhand. There's a couple things to take note here, right? So the first time you block with it, you pay the resource, it gets +1 defense, right? If your opponent breaks the combat chain and then comes in and attacks you again, you can block with this a second time, pay a resource, and it'll block for 2 that time. This card's really good. This card's really good, especially against go wide decks. There's so many cards in Tales of Aria so far that just hose over go wide decks, and this is definitely one of them. This card's sweet. Just keep in mind though, if they don't break the chain, right? Say you block with your Rampart of the Ram's Head, and they follow that up with another like Scar for a Scar or something, your card's stuck up there on that combat chain. You can't block with it again until they break the chain. So just keep that in mind. But it's still really good, man. This card's really good. I mean, it's my goal to get a cold foil version of every legendary, every set release, and this is one of the ones I really want. It's so cool. Next up we have, oh, this is the last card we're gonna talk about today, and this card is metal as hell. It is so sweet. Tera Thunder. This is a 3-cost Guardian attack action. Pitches for blue, which is great for Guardian. Blocks for 3, also great for Guardian. Your next Guardian attack this turn gains +1, dominate, and if it hits a hero, they discard 2 cards. Oh my god. Dude, this card, +1 is like, oh, it's just a little baby buff. Dominate. Okay, it's pretty good. Discard 2 cards. This is a really gross, debilitating card. This is going to see a lot of play. That's just the name of the game. This is going to see a lot of play. It's pretty resource intensive, so it already costs 3 to play. So that means you're going to really need some setup, you know. You're going to really need to get all your things in line, because most Guardian cards are also pretty expensive to play, but if you can do it, man, it's gonna really hurt. So yeah, I think Tera Thunder is quite good. It's quite good. And now we're back to Oldhim, Grandfather of Eternity. This set is sweet, man. Tales of Aria is so sweet. I cannot wait to see who the 3rd hero is. I can't wait to see I'm gonna guess that they're probably Lightning and Earth, but I can't wait to see what their class is. I'm pulling for Wizard. I'm pulling for Wizard, everyone, but judging by the equipment so far, we don't see a lot of Arcane Barrier. But then again, we haven't seen a lot of equipment anyway, so we had Spell Void on one. I think Wizard's still in the running. I think it's still in the running, so I got my fingers crossed for Wizard. I'm definitely going to be building an Oldhim deck. I mean, every single set I build at least 1 deck for all the heroes. I think Oldhim's going to be really sweet. I think he's going to be a heavy contender. Also, pun intended on that one too. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments down below what you think of Oldhim, what you think of that shield, what you think of all of this like stalling, taxing shenanigans. I think some people are going to freaking love it, and some people are going to be really sad when all of their stuff costs like 3 more to play and they're playing chain, and well, they just can't do it. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, everyone, and we'll see you next time for some more card game content. Have a good one, all. We'll see you later.